A farmer in the Ohio River Valley slices into a green fruit the size of a mango. The knife sinks through thin skin and into flesh the color of sunrise, golden, custard thick, fragrant like banana and vanilla left in warm air. He tastes it and laughs. Sweet, tropical, impossible for this latitude. By 1905, fruit like this has nearly vanished from markets. For centuries, it fed native nations, frontier families, even presidents. It grew wild along creeks and hardwood forests across half the continent. Then the modern food system tightened its grip. Standardized crates, refrigerated trucks, national grocery chains, and the largest native fruit in America quietly slipped back into the shade. It did not disappear from the land. It disappeared from commerce. Today on Nature Unearthed, we're uncovering 7 reasons this forgotten superfruit, pawpaw, may be one of the most important backyard crops in North America. And number 5 explains why, even now, supermarkets still don't want you asking for it. Before apples dominated orchards and bananas crossed oceans by container ship, pawpaw was ordinary. That may be the strangest part of its story. It wasn't rare, it wasn't exotic, it was common. Indigenous nations across the eastern United States cultivated and managed pawpaw groves long before European arrival. Archaeological evidence shows pawpaw seeds preserved in cave sites dating back thousands of years. It wasn't just foraged, it was planted intentionally near settlements and river corridors. Early colonists embraced it quickly. Thomas Jefferson planted pawpaws at Monticello. George Washington reportedly enjoyed them chilled. Lewis and Clark wrote in their journals about subsisting on pawpaws when supplies ran low. For weeks, the expedition survived on fruit that grew wild along the Missouri River. Pawpaw was not wilderness novelty, it was infrastructure. So why did it vanish? Not because it tasted bad. Almost everyone who tries ripe pawpaw describes it as one of the best fruits they've ever eaten. Not because it was hard to grow. Pawpaw thrives in 26 states, from Florida to Ontario and west to Nebraska. It disappeared because the system changed. In the mid-20th century, refrigerated transport transformed food distribution. Portable cooling units for trucks made it profitable to ship produce thousands of miles. Grocery chains centralized. Distribution hubs expanded. The cold chain became the backbone of American food. That system demanded one thing above all else: durability. Apples can last weeks in cold storage. Oranges endure long transport. Bananas are harvested green and ripen slowly. Pawpaw lasts 2 days once ripe. 3 if you're lucky. It bruises easily. It ripens quickly. It ferments if mishandled. A fruit designed to fall from tree to forest floor within yards, eaten by raccoons, foxes, and opossums, was suddenly expected to survive a 1,000-mile truck ride. It failed the logistics test. And logistics quietly replaced nutrition as the primary filter for what Americans eat. Pawpaw, Asimina triloba, is not a berry or a novelty. It is North America's largest edible native fruit. Individual fruits can weigh up to a pound, with clusters hanging like green lanterns beneath broad, tropical-looking leaves. The tree itself grows 15 to 30 feet tall. It prefers the understory of hardwood forests, partial shade, moist soil, creek bottoms. Walk through an Appalachian woodland in September, and you might smell it before you see it. Sweet, overripe banana drifting through the air. Cut one open, and the flesh is pale yellow to deep orange. The texture resembles custard. The flavor? A blend people compare to banana, mango, pineapple, and vanilla. A tropical profile, grown in temperate climate. That alone should make it extraordinary. But flavor is only part of the story. In raw numbers, pawpaw stands out. A 100-gram serving contains significantly more vitamin C than apples. It provides higher levels of magnesium and iron. Its protein content includes all 9 essential amino acids, rare for fruit. Its fatty acid profile includes beneficial monounsaturated fats uncommon in typical supermarket produce. Compared to apples, pawpaw delivers multiple times the mineral density. Compared to bananas, it contains higher levels of certain micronutrients and antioxidants. Kentucky State University, one of the few institutions actively researching pawpaw, has documented its impressive nutrient composition. Laboratory analyses show strong antioxidant capacity, meaning it helps neutralize oxidative stress in the body. It also contains unique compounds called acetogenins. These natural substances have drawn scientific interest for their potential biological activity. Research is ongoing, but early studies suggest intriguing properties worth further exploration. This isn't fringe nutrition talk. It's documented chemistry. And yet, most Americans under 50 have never tasted it. That disconnect reveals something uncomfortable. The food system does not optimize for nutrient density. It optimizes for scalability and shelf life. There is no secret memo banning pawpaw. There doesn't need to be. Industrial agriculture favors monoculture, vast fields of identical crops harvested mechanically. Pawpaw resists that pattern. First, it grows best in partial shade, beneath taller trees. It evolved in layered forests, not open fields. Second, it requires cross-pollination between genetically distinct trees. A single tree often won't fruit alone. Its flowers bloom maroon and emit a faint scent that attracts flies and beetles, not bees. Commercial orchards sometimes hang decaying fruit or even fish to encourage pollinators. That's not a romantic detail for marketing brochures. Harvest windows are short, typically 2 to 3 weeks in late summer or early fall. Fruits ripen unevenly and must be picked gently by hand. And once ripe, they must be eaten quickly. Scaling that into a nationwide supply chain is complicated and expensive. Compare that to apples. Uniform, firm, wax-coated, and bred for storage. Apples can sit in controlled atmosphere warehouses for months. Pawpaw cannot. So the system simply selected something else, not by conspiracy, by efficiency, and efficiency reshaped taste. Here's the part that surprises many new growers. Planting one pawpaw tree is usually not enough. Pawpaw flowers are self-incompatible. That means pollen from one tree typically cannot fertilize flowers on the same tree if they are genetically identical. You need at least 2 distinct cultivars. They also prefer shade in early years. Seedlings often grow best under canopy protection before transitioning into more sunlight as they mature. The taproot is delicate. Transplant shock is common. Young trees can stall if moved carelessly. Fruit storage is minimal. Once ripe, you have a narrow window. Freezing pulp is common among enthusiasts. These quirks discourage casual growers, but they are not flaws. They are ecological signatures. Pawpaw evolved in a forest network, multiple trees, layered light, local consumption. When beginners try to grow it like an apple orchard in full sun with single specimens, disappointment follows. Understanding the plant's ecology changes the outcome. In the right setting, pawpaw is remarkably resilient. It has few serious pests. Its leaves contain natural compounds that deter many insects. It requires minimal chemical intervention. It tolerates shade better than most fruit trees, making it ideal for food forest systems and permaculture designs. Once established, trees can bear fruit for decades, sometimes 50 years or more. In a backyard, pawpaw does not need to survive trucking schedules. It needs to survive the distance from branch to kitchen. That changes everything. A small grove near a creek, 2 cultivars planted 10-15 feet apart, lightly mulched, partially shaded. Within 6 to 8 years, fruit begins to appear, clusters hanging like green ornaments, a tropical dessert grown without imported fertilizers or pesticide sprays. For families interested in self-sufficiency, pawpaw offers something rare. High-calorie, nutrient-dense fruit grown locally in temperate zones. No container ships, no refrigerated rail cars. Just soil, shade, and patience. The disappearance of pawpaw from commerce was not just culinary. The zebra swallowtail butterfly relies exclusively on pawpaw as its host plant. When pawpaw groves declined near settlements, local butterfly populations followed. Food choices ripple outward. The average American consumes around 35 pounds of bananas annually, most imported from thousands of miles away. Pawpaw could never replace bananas entirely. But imagine even a fraction of that demand met locally, reducing transport energy and increasing biodiversity. Instead, we standardized our diets. Uniform fruit, predictable flavor, extended shelf life. We gained convenience. We lost variety. We gained durability. We lost seasonality. And seasonality carries meaning. Pawpaw ripens briefly in late summer. Its fleeting availability creates anticipation. It demands presence. Miss the window, and you wait a year. That rhythm once shaped human life. Now strawberries in January feel normal. Despite its disappearance from supermarkets, pawpaw never left the forest. Foragers kept tasting it. Backyard growers kept planting it. Researchers at Kentucky State University preserved and bred cultivars with improved size and flavor. Festivals celebrate it. Farmers markets feature it briefly each September. Chefs experiment with pawpaw ice cream, custards, and breads. The fruit will likely never dominate grocery chains. Its biology resists that fate. But perhaps that is the point. Not every food must scale globally. Some foods belong to landscapes. Pawpaw belongs to eastern North America, its rivers, its hardwoods, its shaded valleys. And for those willing to step outside industrial convenience, it offers something rare. A native superfruit hidden in plain sight. The farmer in 1890 didn't know he was holding a relic of a disappearing food system. He just knew it tasted extraordinary. Today, the trees still grow wild across 26 states. The fruit still ripens each September. The nutrients are still there, 3 times the vitamin C of apples. Elevated mineral density, unique plant compounds waiting to be studied further. The only question is whether we remember to look. What else have we forgotten because it didn't fit a crate? What other native foods faded not from failure, but from incompatibility with logistics? Pawpaw is not a miracle crop. It is not a silver bullet. It is not a conspiracy. It is evidence. Evidence that our food system filters for transport efficiency before nutritional richness. Evidence that biodiversity often loses to uniformity. Evidence that self-sufficiency sometimes begins in overlooked shade. Plant 2 trees. Give them time. Watch the understory. The largest native fruit in America has been waiting quietly for a century, and it never left. If this story shifted how you see your backyard, stay with nature unearthed. Some truths don't stay buried forever.